Okay, now I'm gonna talk about my maybe third, fourth miracle. No, was not, but was a real one of the top great miracles of my life. I wouldn't say the best or the biggest because each one was so necessary when was the time that they happened that at that moment when they happened there was the best, there was the most important, just like this one. I was blind and now I see, and that is what exactly what happened to me. I came to America, and after this and that I did it, I read a book. I read a book that was Don Juan de Castaneda. And there is in some place in Don Juan de Castaneda that he say he are teaching exercise. And one of the exercise was to look into the sun. And he say, don't look directly to the sun or you'll be blind. But with your eyes, your same open. So I couldn't understand well because, to be truthful, I couldn't speak very well English right there, and I had to get the dictionary to know what exactly what he was saying. And I read the book with the dictionary, and most of the books that I read right then in the beginning, I was just making a list of the books that I read when I came to America to help me to learn English. And the first book that I read was some book that I got in the library. Then I got someone gave me this collection of Castaneda and Gitan and the Bible and some book from Mr. Okada, Japanese, sobre Jorei, and a few other books that I don't remember right now. And I remember that right then uh, was very interesting for me to read the book of Castaneda because I have heard so many times people talking about that. So it was for me unbelievable to read the book in English, in the original writing. So I wouldn't say that was the best reading of my life because I lost my eyesight on that. What I learned after I read the book is be careful when you read a book. Uh, be careful what the book tell you to do. Read 10 more or 15 more books about that subject before you do. Because sometimes you are so enchanted by the writer and you think that he was so great that whatever he say must be good. And that's what happened. Because in that time I was old enough to know that to look to the sun is not a good idea. I knew that since I was a child. But Don Juan de Castaneda was the masters of the master, and I had to do that. I was learning to feel more, to be more in tone with what people was feeling, and that was part of the teaching. And stupidly, I did it. I looked to the sun. And I didn't feel right away. But I remember I went to my mother-in-law house and someone was coming and I was screaming because I was so scared. I was seeing a monster. As she got close, I could see more her features, but it looked like she had some problem. She had was her face was deformed. Okay, later I learned that her face was not deformed. My eyes was getting deformed. I didn't feel the impact of the sun immediately. It was getting darker, my eyes and darker. And I think the first time that I saw was my mother-in-law, best friend Bertha. God He's with God in heaven already, both of them, and died very old, had a good life anyway, so don't feel sorry about them. It was over 90 both. And not both, my mother-in-law was about 87. So anyway, come back to the situation. I went back to home and I got a newspaper. That's when I stopped to read newspapers. My eyes started to get bad. The letters would be running. So I talked to my husband and said, baby, the letters in the newspaper are running. I can't read it. He said, okay, let's go to the doctor. So we went to the doctor a few days later, and the doctor said, wow, what happened? You have a hole in your iris, in your cornea, in your iris. How that happened? Did you look in the sun? No, you couldn't have done that. I said, yes, I did it. He said, you are stupid. I said, yes, I am. He said, okay. Now, because that, you're going to be blind for the rest of your life. And you won't be able to see nevermore. I said, what? He said, yep, that's what's going to happen. I said, well, okay, you must be a good doctor, but I'm telling you, you know God. You cannot just look at me and say, nevermore. I'm going to have my eyesight. He said, yeah, because in the history of science, nobody who's ever looked to the sun and lost the sight have ever seen again. I said, oh, well, it's too bad for them because I'm going to see again because I know in the name of God, and Jesus, I'm going to be able to see. I said, so. I said, oh, no, you won't be able to. He said, yes, I will. And my husband said, okay, let's go because this is start to be a problem. So we left. I was very, very sad. I am a painter. So for me, I find art a lot, painter. So for me, on BA, especially on that time, okay, I'm a painter now, and that time I was painted. But before of that, I was a psychologist. So I left my career. I was a psychologist in Brazil. I came to America and I did many things. And at that time, I was a painter. That's a story a miracle too that I will tell another day. But right now it's about my eyesight. So what did I do? I cried. The next day I woke up and I said, darling, I want you to take me to the library. I want to get a book that I can listen to. In those times, didn't have Wi-Fi, didn't have telephone, Apple, or any kind of phone. So it didn't have that kind of technology. But it had CD, DVD, and cassette. I say, okay, let's go to the library. I want to find a book that I can listen and give me some inspiration. My faith on God, it was always infinite, you know. My faith in God, my faith in Jesus was always infinite. So he took me to the library. And I said, okay, let's go to the section where they have DVD, and you pick them up and you read the name. When it come up one that I like, I say, that's the one. So he would pick up one and say, nope, no, this one not either. And finally he said, I got one here. It's called Conversations with God. I said, that's the one. Donald Donson, I think his name was. Donald was a person who used to be a radio talker and had a car accident. And he ended up with a torn nipples, that thing that put in the neck when you have a neck problem. I don't know how to call it. So he had one of that on his neck, and he ended up living on the street to the mercies of the people who walking by. And at that time, he would wake up in the middle of the night with someone talking things to him. And that voice would say something like, when he would think, oh, how could God have done that with me, put me in the street like that? The voice would say, why would I do that? If I create you If I create you and I create all the things that are there for you to look, for you to enjoy. I am the Alpha, I'm the Omega, I'm the Beta, I'm everything. Why I would do something to harm you? Maybe you have done something to harm yourself. And he would say, what is that? So the next day he would wake up in the middle of the night and he couldn't sleep because every time would happen that. And he said, I'm going crazy. And the voice would say, well, you could think that you're going crazy, but you could think that this God talking to you. And he said, now I'm going crazy. So that conversation happened, and God finally said to him, are you going to trust me or not? And he trusts God, and he found someone to write that story for him because he couldn't. A lady on the radio typed the story for him, and he finally got to publish. This is a long story. Many of you have already read the book because it was in the old millennium. It's been over 25 years that that book was published, and many, many, many movies happened. And Donald Dawson has already been all over, traveling all over the world in the churches and plazas, etc., talking about his life story, how he had a conversation with God. So that's what was the book about. And the book would also talking about healing, that God put inside of each one of us the power of healing. You just need to believe it, that you have that power of healing. So the priest believed that why he go out there talking to people and blessing people. The minister of the Pope, the people believe it. That's why he is at the church being a minister for the people and curing people and doing many miracles because he believed in the people too. So if the priest and the minister can do it, you can't amazing if you have the same faith of them and the same love that they do. So I was listening to all those things that he was talking about in the book and all those beautiful things, and I knew already by birth, but it's good to hear someone else talking about it. It sometimes give you you know some things, but you believe more than when you hear someone else talking about it. Because sometimes you don't believe yourself. So after listening to that DVD for days, would make some chamomile tea, and my husband would help me out. He would make the tea for me, put in the refrigerator. When it would cool down, I would take cotton, dip them in that tea, and put in my eyes. Well, it took about, I don't know, maybe a year, 6 months. I don't remember exactly how long. I used to, those times, would to come a bluebird to visit us every day. I open the door. It's not a cat, it's not a dog. There it is, a bluebird at my door looking for peanuts. Was a friendship that over 25 years with that bluebird. So those times that I couldn't see it, I would miss to see him, but he would come. I couldn't see him, just shadows. Those times I would see just shadow, but I would see the shadow of the bluebird. But that day, I would come out anyway, bring peanuts. That time I was to be a cigarette smoker, and I would go outside smoke and thinking about God healing my eyes. So like I would do every time that I put those cotton, I would thinking about it. God healing my eyes, and I'm getting better. And so I got well, little by little, and in that specific day that I was outside, I saw that power that we see when we are inside the house. And sometimes you see that flash of light come through some space in the top of the house. And you see that cosmic power that shines with the light. I say I will start to see, and I thought, oh, how can I see something so small like that? This is too small. I can't believe that I can see that. And he said to me, God said, I felt God is healing my eyes. God is making miracle in me. This is the first thing that I see it. That is not just dark shadow. And God is healing my eyes. And I was so happy that I knew the miracle had happened right there. It was beginning to happen. And I got inside the house to share with my husband that beautiful time. It was interesting because yesterday was Valentine's Day, and I don't remember exactly when it was, but it's been a long time ago. It was in the old millennium, 1998, 97. I don't know exact. I don't remember. But I remember how terrible it was, and I remember that I'd been one Valentine that I couldn't see it because I made a card for my husband, and I would see just darkness. I took a picture and I cut and I put in the paper and I wrote and I gave to him. So yesterday I was remember that it's one of the biggest miracles that happened to me because after that my eyesight has got better and better and better. And one day I saw the bluebird. He was there, and I gave a peanut. He would come to my hand. He would pick a peanut from my hand. That's a miracle too. And I wrote the song for him. But that's for now. For now, that's it. That is the miracle that I would like to share. Is no matter what it is, the problem, God can fix. Because I was blind in a time that didn't have surgery for eyes. In the time didn't have cure for eyes. I remember living in those times because I remember in the city that I live in, João Pessoa, there was only one place that would make uh, some eye drops for the eyes, for the people who have carnosity, that I don't know how to call something that grow skin in your eyes. And the only medicine that exists in those times was eye drops made by the nuns. That was close to the Centro Administrativo de João Pessoa. Um, had a little hospital that was part of something that some nun lived there and they would make it. That was the only medicine. I remember those times that people would have glaucoma and they would get blind in a couple days, I don't know how many days. So now many miracles happen. You can call science a miracle. I'm gonna call this one mine. It's a miracle, okay? And science is a miracle too. So, and I want to share with you this beautiful miracle that happened in my life. And you could read the book of Donald Johnson if you have never read it before. That's called Conversations with God. And you want to see the biggest miracle in the world there too. Many. Okay, that was wonderful to share that miracle. And until next time. Okay, let me stop this here.